Hi everybody, I'm Eliza Sidner-Rom, and this is Dalwhinnie, who just arrived here at Brayburn Farm, 2 mornings ago, not quite 48 hours ago. He had a long trip up from South Florida here, about 14 hours in the trailer, so we let him have a quiet day the first day and get used to the place. Same for yesterday, let him get used to being turned out and all the horses here. And so today I'm gonna take him down to the arena and walk him around a little bit and let him see the sights. So you guys can see a young horse truly for the first time, seeing where he will be working. And I'm excited to go on this journey with you with this horse. He is a beautiful coming four-year-old Hanoverian gelding by Dante Veltino. He's owned by Julie McKean, who bred him. She competed his mother, Stelina, through the Grand Prix, and then when she retired from competition, she bred her to Dante Veltino and got this gorgeous guy, who hopefully will be her next Grand Prix horse. So I've put the lunging cavesson, some people say cavesson, whatever floats your boat, on DW here, and I just wanted to show you guys close up what this is. This is my preferred way to start young horses when they haven't even been introduced to the bridle or anything yet. If you do not own a cavesson, and they are hard to find well-fitting, a good leather, snug, Cassidy, halter is also an option. But this has the 3 rings in the center, so I'm attaching the lunge line to this center ring. And then the noseband is like a normal noseband of a bridle. It's fairly snug. You don't want it loose because you don't want this giant metal thing bouncing around on his nose. And then this is called the Jowl Strap or the eye strap. It's called the eye strap because its job is to pull these cheek pieces out of his eyes. So when I lunge him, if I'm lunging him the other to the right, that it wouldn't go and get in his eye the way a halter often does. So this is the way I like to start young horses, so I don't have to be in their mouth. And if he is a little naughty or obnoxious, this, a bonk on the nose with this, is similar to a chain over the nose. In terms of harshness, I can really set him back if he's gonna barge through me or be rude with this, which is much better than yanking and pulling on his mouth, his baby uneducated mouth with a bit, or just a halter where I pull hard with a rope halter on his pole. There's plenty of other options if you do not have a cavesson. Most of the cavessons that they sell out there are not very well made in terms of the design. This eye strap, they have too high, like a throat latch on a bridle, so it doesn't do its job to keep this out. They have these gigantic, ridiculous mechanisms on the front with huge rings that's not necessary. Again, there are other options. If you use a snug fitting halter that you can make so that it doesn't pull in their eye, that can be an option. I wouldn't use a rope halter to lunge in because that would be a little harsh, but if you're just gonna do groundwork, that would be fine. A Micklem bridle without the bit so that it has that ring here would be an option. And then they make a couple other training halters for other disciplines, like I've seen them in the Arab world, where it's really just a leather halter, but it has rings on the front. And then you could get a good leathersmith to sew this eye strap further down. You can actually even see on this one where it was sewed up here, and we moved it down so that it fits horses better. So, all right, that's the cavesson.
Off we go. But first, let's pause for just a minute and talk about the other equipment we see here. A lunge line made of cotton, never of nylon, because it doesn't break easily, with a good sturdy metal snap that is not rusted and can easily be opened quickly. I'm wearing a helmet on the off chance, but let's be honest, pretty likely chance that he swings his head around wearing that lunging cavesson and knocks me in the head. My footwear is sturdy and comfortable so that if he steps on my toe, it won't break it, and I would never wear clogs or something else that I could easily trip in. Gloves, absolutely. After having some serious rope burn on my hands from a couple young horses, I finally learned my lesson and will always wear gloves. So here is sweet DW seeing the arena for the first time. He's settled into the farm for a couple days. He's now pretty relaxed and feeling at home, so I feel like he's with me enough to have his first session in the arena. If I would have taken him on the first day down here, he would have been too distracted and too nervous about everything, and there wouldn't have been much point. But now he's pretty relaxed and he's gotten used to his buddy and turnout, so I think he's able to focus on me for a little bit. Young horses, like little kids, have a really short span of attention, so I want to make my sessions short and sweet. I also want to take a second to recognize the massive amount of training this horse has already had. I get horses in to start under saddle that are anywhere from feral to already having been sat on a few times. This horse is the latter. He comes in the stall, he lets us groom him, he picks up all 4 feet, he leads well, he ties. That training, or what many of us would just call basic groundwork, is the prerequisite before we can do any of this where we talk about lunging or beginning to ride a horse. So for today, I'm pretty much just letting him see the sights and get used to this place. He's been at farms with mirrors, so he's not as freaked out by our mirrors as some young horses are. I've had plenty of young horses snort and passage around with their tail over their back for minutes on end until they got used to the mirrors, but he doesn't seem to care too much. Some of you might be thinking, where's your round pen? Well, I don't have one. I'm not opposed to round pens, so if you have access to one, go for it. I prefer to teach my young horses to lunge. Round pen work and lunge work share many similarities, but there are some distinct differences in lunging a horse in an arena over round penning them, which I'll get into in the next video. But a lot of good groundwork can happen in a round pen, and I recognize the safety of having a very green horse in a smaller enclosed area. What I would ask you to watch out for if you're using a round pen is make sure the footing is not too deep, which often happens in round pens. And second, try to make sure the round pen isn't too small. The most common diameter for round pens is 60 feet, but that isn't quite as big as a 20-meter circle. If possible, make it a little bigger. Spending a lot of time in a small round pen and or one with deep footing is a recipe for soundness problems.
So now that he's a little bit more focused on me, I can start to ask him a couple questions. Very simple. Halt with me, walk with me, halt with me, pay attention to me, turn your focus to me. And that's all I want to do today.
You'll hear me ask him to stop using the trill noise. You can use whatever noise you'd like, whatever you're used to. As long as you're consistent and use the same noise every time, it really doesn't matter. Even though he's a little distracted, he's really being very good and listening to me quite well, even on this first day. If he were much more distracted and barging over me, trying to walk on top of me, I might have to back him up a few times in a row so that he learned not to go on top of me.
I try to be very consistent every time I do it. I sit a little taller in my own body beforehand, and then I use the same noise. Let go of him as soon as he stops, pat him, and walk on fairly quickly. He's not going to stand still for very long because he's too distracted. So I don't want to get into an argument with him that he must stand still for a long time.
It might seem like we didn't do very much today, and I realize that we didn't, but he had a very good first experience, and now his impression of the arena and of working with me is a pleasant one, and that's what I wanted to accomplish on our first day. Next time, we'll begin talking about lunging the young horse and all that goes along with that. Tune in and subscribe below.